I say, we're live, by the way. And I say, why do you sit in the cold blow, in the JK stand? And they say, well, I stood on the cold blow lane at the old ground. So then I just when we went to the new ground, I sat on the cold blow lane. Do you know what I mean?
We stayed there. We were season ticket. Well, we used to sit there for years, didn't we, Joe? Remember the Tranmere game?
Yeah, Tranmere.
What year was the Tranmere game? 2000.
2004.
2004. Yeah, ain't there a really good photo of There's a really good photo of is it Joe and Kieran or all three of them when Tim Cahill scores against West Ham, and they're like tiny kids behind the goal, fucking celebrating.
Yeah, got that. And the one where Joe was in the one in Tranmere, and Joe was wearing an aqua scooter man.
Burberry cap.
Burberry cap. And in one of the men's
magazines. Then.
What was the men's magazine called, Joe?
Loaded,
yeah? And it went Chav of the Week, right? And it put in a picture of Joe when he was 10 years old with the boot.
With my face circled in it.
Chav of the Week.
I just bought Emery an aqua scooter buddy for Christmas. But,
was Connor still doing this?
What, you sleep on a settee then?
He heard that, didn't he?
Yeah. He's here somewhere.
Boys, by the way, yeah, we've started.
Oh, sorry.
No introduction.
Go
straight in.
So, thanks for tuning in to the Den Debate, the first one of 2023. Evening, chaps. How are we? Happy New Year.
Good evening.
Happy New Year to all.
Good.
I've not said that yet, but we're going to cover, obviously, looking ahead to the new year, the transfer window. We're going to look back as well at some bipolar Millwall specialities over Christmas. Players leaving the club, still no players coming into the club. Lots and lots to talk about, and obviously we'll throw to the audienzo as well. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you've subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, sorry, you might be able to watch, but if you try and comment, you won't be able to. You've been locked out unless you subscribe. So if you're watching and you want to join in, but you haven't subscribed on the chat, then subscribe, and within 10 minutes, you'll be flying. Sorry, boys, I think I've gone very unprofessional tonight. I'm actually sitting on my bed. Busy fucking times at the minute, so I just thought I'd just chill and do it on the bed. How we all been, all right? Pete, how you been?
Yeah, all good. Busy.
Right. Ken's always happy. I don't need to ask him that. Been football training the boys, Ken, and you?
Yeah, just been finishing. Cold, wet, windy.
You just been training on their finishing, or you just finished?
I've just finished with the training. Funnily enough, a couple of them now have Millwall kits. And their old man are not happy because they're all Arsenal fans, but they're all starting to come to the Millwall way, so to speak. And actually, just a little plug here, on the 4th of February, me and my boys will be doing the Guard of Honour against Sunderland at Millwall. So you have to watch out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Little Evie as well.
Really?
Evie is doing it as well, yeah.
Decent.
Oh, the others won't get a look in then. Yeah, brilliant. Well, actually, before we get into tonight's show, what pissed me off was obviously Sunderland wasn't supposed to be the next home game, was it? It was supposed to be Burnley, which is my actual birthday, the 28th of January. But obviously, we got knocked out. Burnley went through, and I now have nothing to do on that Saturday. Birthday ruined. But yeah, that'd be good, Ken. We'd all bring a big old following Sunderland as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Oh, nice.
Right, okay, players, they might not like me.
Yeah, fuck me. Don't try and walk around.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think of that anymore. I remember back in the day, people used to go to me, "Oh, you don't go to the players' bar, do you?" Like fucking Fergie hated me, Harris, but I don't think there's anyone particularly gets dug at Charlie Creswell. Maybe we're going to cover him anyway today. But
because we're doing all right in a minute. There's no one to dig out.
Yeah.
My boy said to me yesterday, text me, but fuck me, you've buried Charlie Creswell on Instagram. I said, it's all right. I unfollowed him first. I felt bad. I unfollowed him before I went in with the post. But look, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's wind it back, boys, to the Christmas period. I won't dwell on the games too much, but we will talk about the Watford game. What a fucking performance, Peter. You was there, so you walked straight past me.
Oh, did I? Oh, what? Sorry, Dan. The reason I walked right past you because I was in shock. Yeah? I was in shock of the performance we put on, you know?
Unbelievable, mate.
It was. It reminded me of a game. Remember when we had Tressa Candole playing for us against Tranmere away, where we completely dominated for 90 minutes. Yeah. And I know they went down to 10 men, but any witness there will say, even when they had 11, we was all over them, should have been 3-0 up. Yeah. And then when they went down to 10, Mill again, second half, so they got the throat, let him into it a little bit. He was a little bit worried for a little while. And then we just cracked on, got the second, and then it was just like home and dry, wasn't it? And it was absolutely performance from every single one of the players. That's your dream performance where everyone had a lot of, for me, an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 game. You know, I couldn't fault any player that day. And then you're going to go back to people who were going, well, they were shit, and, you know, they were crap because they lost 4-0 the next game. But ain't about that. You've got to go there and do a job. And I think most of us, to be honest, would turn around and say, we're going to lose that 2 or 3-0. I never expected to win it.
What you said about their player getting sent off, that pissed me off because people would take a little bit away from our result there. And like you said in your post-match video, it could have been 5 or 6. But I don't think it would have mattered if they had a player sent off or not, really. I thought we was fucking that good on the day. Joe, what do you think? Before you comment, Joe, please apologise to KP because you was like, oh, hang on.
He was like, I was having a chat with him earlier. I said, make sure you watch the stream tonight.
There you go.
He wanted a shout out, so shout out Millwall KP.
There you go. Well, that's an apology all in itself. There you go. Yeah, Joe, Watford away.
Yeah, that was a brilliant performance. As Dad said, weren't really expecting that. And I think I said on my video after that one of the, if not the best performances of the season. It's funny how the other one, I'd say, best performance of the season was Watford at home as well. So
yeah,
we just seem to turn it on against them. Whatever they're doing, they're still up there in the table, but don't know whether it's their style of play or whatever, but just don't seem to match up to us. And we've done a good job on them both times. And yeah, as I say, as my dad said again, ultimate team performance, I think. But then going ahead a bit, the old Jekyll and Hyde, we put in a performance like that. A few days later, Bristol City at home, total opposite. But typical Millwall fashion, you just knew that was going to happen. Yeah.
Well, look, let's get Kenny because someone you're a big advocate for, not just Matt Smith, not just Ryan Leonard, not just George Long, but you like the Vogelsammer and he got off the mark, Ken.
Yeah. I seem to like all the players that most people don't like, don't I?
I've got to admit to all of as well there, didn't I? Matt Smith will never be touched.
Matt Smith will never be touched, no.
Ryan Leonard is up there, and then George Long's now coming into the fold, which we're going to probably argue about later. And then, the Vogelsammer, you backed him. A lot of people you have as well. What we saying in the comments about the Vogelsammer, are we having him as a striker?
Look,
I think got a good finish, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a great finish. I think that we need some sort of extra number 9 attacker. You can't leave it to Bradshaw all the time. And if we're going to have someone that can replace Bradshaw, Vogelslammer, he's not going to work as hard as Bradshaw. But I feel you give him a little bit of time, you put him in the right positions, he will score us goals. I don't think he's our 20-goal season man.
No.
But I think he could be our Afobe, if that makes sense, with Bradshaw and Afobe linking up, getting however many goals they got in a season. But they probably need to work together, to be honest.
Yes, I don't think that will happen to you.
No, I don't know.
No, if it's one striker, that's it. It's been a donation. Go on, Ken, sorry.
Yeah, just at the moment, it seems to be working quite well, doesn't it? So you don't need to change it up.
No, you don't. Stephen Ball, thanks very much, mate, for your kind donation. Super chats are open. And we're welcoming, I don't know your name, mate, but you come all the way from Sittard to support the former boy Fleming in the game against Rotherham. You saw me outside the ground. I did come up to you, say hi. Regret it now. I probably would have spoke a load of bollocks, mate. You wouldn't have got your fucking flight home, so don't worry about that too much. Just on the Watford game, this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion. I don't know. but while we're on the subject of Sittard and the Bermondsey B, I don't think he's been Preston unbelievable previous to that, but since Christmas, I don't feel he's done much in games. Of course, he scored the goal against Watford. He always pops up in those moments of magic, but his all-round game hasn't been great lately. Joe, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah, I've said this exact same thing for about the past month. Like, don't get me wrong, put your hands up if he's scoring the goals, then
don't matter,
you take it. But I don't think his all-round play, like actually during games, I don't think he really affects games much. Like when he come in, you expected him. I think we all sort of expect him to pick up the ball in the middle of the park and just run with it and do something magical and beat players. But he doesn't really do that. And AOB was a bit similar. He used to go missing all game. Like never used to do anything, but used to pop up with the goals here and there. So listen, like as we say, he's not doing much. But if he's scoring the goals.
Well, maybe
can't say too much.
Maybe he's thinking, "Fuck me, I like it here. I don't want to go already. I'll tone it down a bit in January so no one comes in." But Joe, you were just saying there about the Watford was brilliant. We was all saying it's brilliant, and then you mentioned the Bristol City game. This is something I want to ask all your opinions on because I know the game's gone, so we won't dwell on it, especially the performance it was. What has happened now in 3 days to be coming at the traps after Christmas? Absolutely on it, 10 out of 10 across the field, as Pete said. What changes within 3 days to go that complete fucking opposite? Players?
Lack of consistency.
Formation.
Formation.
Not Millwall's formation, the opposition's formation. When we went to Watford, they was open to attack us, and it was a free-for-all game. So when they was open, putting people forward, they was leaving gaps for us to infiltrate. But when we played Bristol City, they had a good line of defence, and they was a good counter-attacking team. They had a good few at the back. They weren't rushing forward. And then when we tried to get behind them, we couldn't. We just couldn't. And it gets frustrated because it ain't the first time I've seen us do that. We had the Wigan game. We've had the Bristol City game. And we can't play through. Once they shut up at the back, don't go attack mine of this team. We ain't got a clue about to break them down or get behind them. I said to the boys, I said, they're only when we got teams like that, our only means of attack was in the past was bring on Matt Smith last 15 minutes and go long ball instead of try and play through them. Go to long ball with a knockdown from Matt Smith. That's what we left him. But it's just we can't break teams down. Rotherham,
You're right. That happened a lot in League One, didn't it? Teams would come and sit, and if they did, and I agree with what you're saying, and I thought Bristol City had a good game plan, but that aside, I didn't feel we had fucking any energy in us anyway. When we did try and break them down, we didn't do it at pace. We didn't have any good ideas.
They're tired. I went, they've just had a month off for the World Cup. Where can they be tired? Right,
so you're putting out a formation, right?
Yes, exactly, because it's the way teams defend. When they look at that, the Bristol, and who was it before we had a draw against someone, a girl?
Oh, I know the game you're talking about. I think it was Hull, wasn't it?
Was it
Hull?
People agreeing with you.
Yeah, the whole game at home where we just couldn't break them down. It was like a battering ram. Huh?
Was that 1-1? That one,
I'm sure that was.
No, it's 1-1. Fleming's goal, wasn't it? Fleming's goal. That was 1-1, I think. But
but we just couldn't break them down.
They're coming down to our ground now, and they're setting up in a certain way that they know that we can't break through them. Apart from Rotherham, because they was like rubbish,
Yeah.
They half-decent team who come to Millwall and sets up, and they know how to set up and go like Hull did, like Wigan did, and like Bristol City did. We ain't got to break them down.
I'll get that. But I know you're saying a different formation, so there was less gaps. For Bristol City, but even just like the energy and the desire just didn't seem there. Ken, what did you think?
I think Bristol City beat us for the same reason that we beat Watford. I think that Bristol.
It was a draw.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, draw. I think that.
Like a loss.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I think that Bristol City just wanted it more. I think they were all over the pitch. I think they were closing us down a lot quicker. I felt like they looked like a team in the 80th minute that had just started playing. You know, they still had loads and loads of energy, and I don't think we had an answer for it, really. I honestly think that we was quite lucky to get away with a draw against them. And look, the problem is that I'm not going to moan about it too much, because when you go and beat Watford 2-0, and we'd had a couple of runs of good games in between that, and now the games that we've had afterwards, you sort of look back at that and go, well, look, sometimes the problem that we have is we get frustrated so much because it weren't too long ago we was playing games like that week in, week out.
True.
Yeah.
So I think you go back to that level of frustration. But if you look at it in hindsight and in a bigger picture, I think you just take that draw and go, right, we move on.
Yeah. 7 points, wasn't it, over the three Christmas games? I think as well, Joe, it was so. It's a little bit like I said with Charlie Criswell. We'll get on to him later. I was so excited about the thought of what we was going to get. When I was especially fucking devastated when we didn't get it. And I felt that with Watford, we went and done it away from home. We went up to fucking fourth. We could have pushed on, you know. The crowd were even more expectant because of the Watford game when it comes to the Bristol City one. But it just didn't happen. But for me, you know, I've not always been Big Broward's biggest fan, but I can't blame him for that. You know, some Pete may, but Kenny might, you might, because they're saying formation didn't work. You should have done something different to mix it up. But I just feel the players were that on fire against Watford that desire alone and momentum should have just fucking. They didn't even come out the traps for me against Bristol City. Yeah. It wasn't as if we tried to break them down with pace and ideas and excitement and chances. We just didn't get going.
From what I remember, wasn't that an unchanged lineup from the Watford game?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. So I bet a man who does know. So Super Steve, he's in the chat.
You see that game, I was going into it with two minds, like exactly what you've said there. Like after that Watford victory, you sort of half going expecting us to turn up and put in a good performance. But I just remember walking up to the ground and I just said, you know exactly what's going to happen here. It's in typical Millwall fashion. I went, we are not winning this game tonight.
Yeah, see, I got sucked in. Yeah, we're going to beat them.
Yeah, you thought at first, and then you just think, nah, it's one of them ones. We're never winning this. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Do you know what I think? I think the players were tired.
I looked straight at Pete.
No, as Ken said, right, come the 80th minute in that game, I said to the boys, I'll take a draw now, right?
Yeah.
I would take a draw because previous years, we'd lose that game. And I went, and then I think they nearly had right at death. They nearly scored, didn't they, as well? They had a few chances. And
we had George Long to thank. We made a really good save, George.
Yeah,
Long.
yeah.
Really good
So
one-on-one.
I said on the 8th minute, look, lads, we ain't going to win this. But if we ain't going to win it, please do not lose it. Yeah?
Yeah, spot on. So like Kenny said, though, you know, Tony Warner said to me, Mark McGee used to do this. He would look at a block of, I can't get a camera there. He would get a block of games and he would go, look, we need X amount of points from those games. So if you lose one or you don't have a great performance, don't worry. And like Kenny rightly says, 7 points when the 3 games over Christmas, more than that. All day long.
We took that long for.
We will be talking about it long.
Yeah.
Very shortly.
Yeah. I think the way we looked, I think if we'd have took the way I think a lot of people looked at it was get a point at Watford and two wins at home, wouldn't they? Yeah. Previous to that. And would have been really over the moon. But now when you think we beat Watford, we beat Rotherham, if only we'd just got, being greedy here, but 3 points, we'd have been right up there, wouldn't we?
Imagine we had 9 points out of them 3 games. We'd be well.
The thing is, though, what you're saying is right, Pete. You said, well, Bristol City defended okay, and then, we just went and Rotherham were terrible. Which they was, but going back to what you said at the top of the show, you can only beat what's put in front of you. You still got to get... And Joe, I've heard you say this quite a lot, actually, in your videos. People say, if you only beat, they were shit or whatever. We can't continually say that, can we? We should be pleased that we're that far above teams like Rotherham now. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I think it's changing a bit now, the view of it, because, earlier on in the season where it was time of real frustration, some of the performances were really bad. So then as soon as we seem to be overcritical, as soon as we were winning games, it was always like, oh, we only won that because they were shit, blah, blah. No one seems to, we didn't want to give ourselves credit. But I said it from the start, like, it's not necessarily, oh, we only won because they were bad, but the way we've set up and the way we've played has made them look bad. So we've got to give ourselves the credit for that. Well, not us, literally, but the players.
But we'll take some. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Steve Leeds, there you go. Thanks, mate. Starting on up was the same against Watford and Bristol City. And credit to Rowett Ken. He changed it against Rotherham. For me, Callum Styles got man of the match. I thought he was brilliant. I thought Honeyman was equally as good. And I thought he just was a real fresh approach, even just a free. I think there's 4 changes. George Long missed the game for family reasons, which we was all concerned about. Right? Lets a few goals in. I don't know if anything bad's happened to him. Actually turned out to be good news. He had the birth of his son. That's why he missed the game. Someone else came in. I can't remember who it was, but Styles was really good, Ken, did you think? And Honeyman freshened it right up for that Rotherham game.
Yeah. The problem for me is that, again, I'm going to say it, and Joe might get the up with this, but Rotherham were really poor.
They had players missing as well, apparently. And
I don't really rate Styles as a midfielder. I haven't but they did have good performances, but I think they had good performances because we was playing. I mean, that's going to be the worst team we're going to play this season, I'd say, Rotherham. But yeah, look, it still worked. They worked hard. They created opportunities. So you can't. I actually can't really moan that much at the moment. I'm quite happy.
Yeah, same. You said there, but evening, Charlie. Hope you're well, mate. Happy New Year. You said there, it was interesting. I remember you saying this before. You don't rate Styles as a central midfielder. I personally think that's his best position. Yeah. You don't rate him, no?
No, not with what we've got, on the bench and on the pitch. I don't think he comes close. The only time I've seen him have a great game against an half-decent competition was when he played left wing-back. I thought he was blinding. And I think that was his debut, to be honest.
Yeah,
took one up, didn't he?
Yeah, and that was the best performance I've seen him play.
I think he's if I could compare him to anyone, I think he's got very high energy like Shackleton, but a lot more forward thinking, a lot much of a better passing range as well. I thought he was quite Billy Mitchell-esque in the way he switches play left to right. I like him centre mid. You're not having him Ken centre mid, no?
No, I don't think so. I think look, give him a run of games and we'll see. I'm open to it. It's just from what I've seen, I'd rather have Saville and Mitchell in there all day long. So
yeah, I'd still say that. Yeah,
he don't come close.
Joe, you what do you think of Styles? And then Pete?
Do you know what? It's strange, because I don't think we've seen enough. Like on his debut, when he played at sort of left wing back, he was best player on the pitch, man of the match for me. And then he's sort of been in and out, coming off the bench. We haven't really seen enough of him. And then he got the start against Rotherham, playing in a different position, centre mid. And I have to say, brilliant. I'll give him man of the match for that game as well. So the only issue you've got is I liked him in that game, but I'd still prefer Saville and Mitchell there. So I don't quite know how that's going to work. The thing I do find strange is the whole left back centre midfield thing. They're sort of 2 complete different positions. You don't really hear of many players that goes left back or a centre mid. It's a strange one, but he's had a good performance in both.
Sorry, Joe. Styles will be best on the left side of the midfield. I like him, and I like the Saville Mitchell combo. I think that definitely suits us best. But I don't know. We got him on loan. Will he sign permanently? He's had a few injuries. For me, Saville I still like him, but he's turned into more now, and he's in his twilight years, shall we say, as a bit more of a disruptor in the midfield for me, a bit more of a kick him up in the air, etc., etc. He is a player that definitely won't be joining us, Michael, because Jamal Lowe joined QPR earlier on loan until the end of the season. He's blown us out more times than I fucking don't know what. Pete, what do you think of Styles?
I actually like Styles, yeah. And I'm going to disagree with Joe and Ken here because, like you just touched on, I think Saville's had his day. He hasn't got that, before when he was before. I know he's got a job to do. He's been told, obviously, by Rowett to stay in the middle. The old Saville used to get forward, score plenty of goals for us, goes into the box and get goals. That ain't the Saville we see now. It's like you just said, touched on. he's a defensive midfielder. He muscles it up in midfield, just stops them attacking and things like that. Where Styles is more, I think, more of a flamboyant player, sprays the ball out, more pace in him, more energy about him. So yeah, I will put him all over in front of Savile all day long. For that,
I like everything you said about him. I think he's got a fantastic vision and passing range.
Yeah.
I like that flamboyant. He's got a touch of class. He can unlock a door.
Yeah,
but also
he looks so comfortable as well on the ball.
Yeah, very comfortable. But a bit more of pacey Sean Williams. But I'll sit on the fence here because I'll agree with all of you. I think for now, Savile and Mitchell is the best option. Styles still needs to prove himself fitness-wise, I think, and to get a permanent move here. But I do like the fact of everything that Pete said about him. I think he's got a great future if he can stay fit. And obviously, with Savile now aging, I think to have Styles, 23? And Billy Mitchell at 21, to be and Fleming in front of them, he's also 23, to build a team for the future there, which is something we've very rarely done at Millwall in the past, is it?
We get Savile
in. Who?
Is Savile really like that
29,
old? He's like
30?
28, 20. Oh, maybe.
Oh, 29-ish, I think.
I ain't checked his Wikipedia recently. So.
I think he's about 38 now.
Yeah, I know a man will know. I know a man will know. Harry Bowden, I'm talking about Steve Leeds, of course. Good evening. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Peter Ryder is watching from France. Okay, so I mean, look, we're all saying we're happy now at the minute. It's fucking all good. You know, you can't win them all. It's rare we say that, but 7 points from the Christmas period. We still sit 6 in the division with a game in hand, which we will go back to 4th. Moving away from the league. The FA Cup. Oh. This could go on, this debate, and I don't mind having it because I was all for getting knocked out, if I'm honest. Underwhelming draw against Sheffield United. We're not going to win the FA Cup. Oh, I meant to put a picture up. Meant to get that earlier on. I might get it up in a second anyway. No problem. I wasn't even going to go. Do you know that? And my boy really wanted to go. And afterwards he went, that's probably one of the worst days we've ever had at Millwall. Where do we stand on this, boys? Ken, the FA Cup, should we have fielded a better side? Was it the right thing to... I mean, I don't think it almost looked like we was trying to get knocked out.
Yeah, I think I said in my video, it was more of a training game. Just get some boys some minutes, get the fitness in. If we do so happen to win, then we so happen to win. But if we don't, let's not make ourselves look stupid. And I think that's exactly what we did. We got some minutes in. We tried to play football. They were better than us, and we didn't really try to, punish them at all. I think that it was a nothing game, and it says it all. By the way, I know it was only the third round, wasn't it? But they closed. If we wanted to, if we were 4th in the league and we were going for the FA Cup, they would have opened up the whole ground for that game.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Sorry, I'm just trying to find my phone. We're going to just I'll go back to the second. I'm trying to find my phone. I'm on my bed. All my bedding's everywhere, ready to make the bed, and I can't find my phone. I wanted to put up a picture, right? I think TT took it. Tony Thomas, right? From the stand, Coldblow Lane empty, Docker's upper not open, right? That, I'm not saying Neil Harris was a better manager than Rowett. I'm not saying that Neil Harris is the man for the job and we should get him back. I'm not saying any of that, right? What I'm saying is that would never have happened under Neil Harris. It just would not have happened. No, that ground empty like that. In an FA Cup, it would not have happened. No. He would have been full in there because he used to go for the juggler teams.
Also, Dan, I'll touch on that point. Is I know it's all about money and this, that, the other. Why didn't we just close the bottom, the top tier of the bloody the Barry Kitchener stand, fill the CBL stand, and then fill the other stand as well? So you got fans all round the ground on top of the players. That would have made a complete difference.
Yeah, put everyone in the lower.
Everyone in the lower, CBL full, lower Docker stand full, that one full, and even maybe put some at the bottom of the away end, right? And that would have made the atmosphere 10 times better. Like, it does turn into a practice match when you see a stand like that, the way it's closed down. And yeah, you're right. I'm disappointed myself. Very, very disappointed in our display against Sheffield United. I love the FA Cup. I love to sit down and watch the draw to get the excitement. We're going to get in the next round. And to be honest, we don't get no one, do we, like over the years. But I loved the FA Cup, and I was really disappointed. And as for going back to the team, we had near enough a full-strength team. Apart from Fleming, who ain't been playing well anyway, was on the bench. Maybe that's what we want to do in the league with Fleming a little bit more. Drop him to the bench. I know he's like that. He's been getting a goal, but he ain't been putting in the performances. And who else did we not play? Cooper.
Mitchell didn't play either.
Who?
Mitchell didn't play.
Yeah, all right, Mitchell. So you had the two other players on the bench that come on in the second half. So we didn't really play a weakened squad, really. That was a good squad we had out there for that game. Yeah. And yeah, I was disappointed to go out the cup. And I thought we should, like I say, I would have liked to have had more go at them. You know, winning breeds confidence. You don't want to keep getting defeats. That's done their confidence no good, losing to them.
Well, Charlie said as well, play the kids. You know, some of them we got ain't the greatest.
Yeah.
You know, everyone bangs the Abdul Malik drum. I don't think he's very good, but at least fucking give Essay a start. You know, just throw a few of them in if you're not interested in fucking being in the competition. Because although we lost, in fear of not taking any positives from the game, I think it could do our confidence a bit of damage. Fucking how badly we was beaten and how bad our performance was.
Yeah.
Again, it's mirroring the other games we've had at home in recent times. Wigan, Bristol City, Hull. Forget about the Rotherham. Them other 4 games at the last 5 home games have been an absolutely nightmare. Well, we ain't putting in performance at all. So 4 out of the last 5 home games have been absolutely woeful. Bar the Rotherham game, like Kenny said, who the worst team in the division. So the home form of the last 5 games has been terrible. And to lose at home just adds to the negativity of playing at home. If you'd have won them, beat them, then going into the next home game, we'll be buzzing and all that. Now we're coming back. We lost at home. We've drawn 3. And it knocks the confidence. I don't care what you say. You know? And I'm right. Neil Harris would have played a better. He would have been
full in there under us, mate, because he would have gone for the juggler. He always fielded and made a big thing of the FA Cup.
Makes me laugh about Millwall fans. If we would have got someone like Arsenal or someone like that, the ground would be packed to the rafters to get a ticket. Yeah, we get someone like them, Championship, can't even get. What was the crowd? I don't know what the crowd was.
7,000.
Well, the thing was 7,000. I was sitting obviously where I sit, so I didn't even notice in the second half that there was no one above me. And someone went, "There's no one above us." So Ken and then Joe. Ultimately, you know, the performance. I agree with Pete. Could be harmful going forward for confidence, but at the FA Cup, good thing or bad thing?
I mean, in a way, it's a good thing. I get what Pete's saying though, like the heritage of the FA Cup, the excitement of sitting down and watching the draw, and you know, potentially getting a big fish, and you know, all that sort of stuff. I agree with that 100%. But on the basis of my concerns of Rowett's capabilities, if we're going to do one, I'd rather do the league, you know, and concentrate on the league. So, you know, if we were 14th in the table and we'd done that, it would be a piss take, you know. But you know, we at that time we were 4th in the table. We got a game in hand against most. You know, concentrate on the league. You know, some teams do that even with the Champions League, don't they, or the Europa League, whatever it is. You know, they'll rest some certain players. So I think it was the right thing to do. However, you know, that selfish part of me would love us to have a big crowd, you know, beat Sheffield United and go into the draw for the 4th round. So yes and no.
Do you remember your first ever prediction?
Yeah,
on a fan score prediction on Lions TV. Tell us what your first ever prediction for a fan score prediction was on the channel.
So firstly, on that video, I called myself Kenny the Lion for some reason.
I was laughing, then I just remembered my full-time reaction to Rock, so I'm going to be quiet.
And I predicted us to beat Everton 3-2.
Fucking hell.
I remember that now, yeah.
I have, yeah, you was probably all watching it going, this fucking geezer's crazy. But I haven't got one right since.
you got called Mystic Kenny for about 18 months on the back of that.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Trev, you're saying you're really disappointed with the FA Cup loss. Rufus, I just saw your comment there, mate. I can't see it, but thanks for tuning in. Hope you and your dad are well. Millwall Tube, good evening. Steve Lees has informed us that Savile is 29, turning 30, and Styles is only 22 years old. So, right, that's all the current games addressed, right? Now we're going to move on. Of course, it is the January transfer window.
Dan, I wanted to pick up something on the Sheffield United.
Sorry, mate, go on.
FA Cup. I was like, I'm a bit disappointed we're out, but I was a bit on the same as Kenny. In looking at it from two ways, like it was the manner of the defeat. I said that, like at half time, that it seemed as if Gary Rowett had just literally said to the team, "Yeah, don't worry about this one," and we didn't turn up at all. But an interesting thing I've been thinking since that game is I think we're in one of the best positions we've ever been in at this stage of the season. And if you look at some of our previous good FA Cup runs, where we've been marching on towards the playoffs, and we've always ended up sort of tailing off when we've had these good FA Cup runs. So
very, very true.
I think maybe it could be a blessing in disguise, because we're in a position now where we can really push on in the league. So I'm not overly disappointed about that.
And we would have got Wrexham away, wouldn't we? Hollywood star Ryan Reynolds' team.
Mate, what a day out. What a day out.
Yeah, he wouldn't have wanted Kenny the Lion fucking roaming free through Wrexham, mate.
I've been to Wrexham, actually, believe it or not. My brother played Wrexham for Maidstone in the FA Cup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they got to the third round.
I remember last time I was there was the we won promotion there that day.
Yeah, by the weekend in
And
Chester. Oh my God.
We sang to them, "We'll never play you again," and we've never played them since. 23
They've been down in
years.
the doldrums, haven't they? They've been down in the doldrums, but they're trying to get back now. See, talking about non-league and Maidstone, he left. Their manager got them back up into the Vanarama Prem, didn't he? But anyway, listen, we're talking about. We'll pick up what Joe just said there. We're in a really good position. Have been first time for a long time, but not as good as it's been. Can we push on? Well, of course, it's January, so those two things tie in. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to, before it goes out my head, a lot of people asking, I've heard Millwall are getting bought out by a big group of Americans, blah, blah, blah. I've heard that's absolutely not true and paper talk, so we won't even bother discussing that because I think it's bollocks. And JB's not selling no way in the world. So we need players now. We need players, obviously, but we ain't just not signing players. Others are slipping out the back door. First and foremost, Pete, Isaac Tanto Alafe leaves the club after coming through the ranks for a long, long time, and he joins Stockport. What do we make of this, chaps? All right, he's never got a chance, but we're wasting our time with this fucking new structure or what? I don't know.
Danny's not a miss. He ain't a miss. I've seen him play. He ain't a miss at all. Right? How old is he?
He's 23 now.
23, and he ain't made it to the first team at 23.
No.
What's going on there? Do you know what I mean? When you look at the Roonies at 16, I know he's special. You look at other players, like that boy that came on the other day, 18. If you're any good, you should be breaking into our first team at 18. I remember a guy in the pub having a go at me once. I think it was Marquise at the time, years ago, saying, he's an apprentice, you've got to give him time. I went, the guy's 21. If he ain't going to be any good time at 21, he's not going to be no good at all. I said, don't give me an apprentice lot, shit, and all that. Remember, about language, but no, he ain't a miss. Phobia ain't going to be a miss. The secret is who we're going to bring in. That is it. And I said in my video when we got into top 6 for Christmas, and I keep banging on about it, I said, John, we've been in this position before, and we always tail away. Other teams that are in this position go out and spend a lot of money, yeah? My other point is you've had a month off in the World Cup, so you've had all that time to get your players brought in for January 1st. Not January the 29th, January the 1st, right?
Fingers crossed, as if we were going to buy anyone that was at the World Cup either, so...
But you've got to do your own work. You've got to get ready. So you should have players bang signed on the dotted line 2nd of January or the first game before you play in January. Deals should be done. So we ain't still done nothing. Get linked with players that always go to other clubs. So yeah, we're very, very slow. I'm really, really like fed up about this transfer window lot because we should have had our business done now. We should be pushing on. We've got Middlesbrough coming up in 2-3 days' time, and we've got a shortage of strikers. One of them gets injured.
Well, this is the thing. Well, Charlie says, look, it's very true that any good players leave us before they fucking get to 17 other than Mitchell and D-Mac, because obviously a lot of them gone to fucking Man City before, haven't they? But you were saying there that Tanto isn't a miss, and you saying Phobie's no miss, but now what you just said there is spot on. We've got no fucking strikers. What, Ken, where do you stand on the, where is he? Took me ages to upload that for some reason. The computer wasn't having it. Phobie out of nowhere joins Hatter Club in Dubai. I mean, he's all about living the life. He's sponsored by Boohoo Man and he does the brand deals. I'm not knocking that. Good fucking luck to him. Wish I'll get a fucking Giacomo brand deal or something. But yeah, fucking, I enjoyed that one, did you?
Yeah. Only because that's what went in my head when you said it.
Oh, you prick. So, Kenny the Lion, what do you... Phobie, he's so typical Mill fans that when he come to the club, he'll go, he ain't all that, myself included, ends up being our top scorer. Then he went away, Benick, don't do it. Then he comes back and everyone's going, you're shit Phobie, fuck off. I remember being at Bristol City away and he was on the bench and everyone was going, oh, Phobie, and he's giving it all that. As soon as he come on, he got dogs abuse, missed the penalty. I don't think he played again. And now he's fucked off. And we haven't sold him. A lot of people are asking that. Contract terminated by mutual consent, get him off the wage bill. Pleased to see him go, Ken, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, I was more pissed off that Tanto went than what Phobie was.
Really?
Yeah, only because I've seen Tanto play twice. One of them was at the Cambridge game where he missed a lot of chances, and people slagged him off. But my argument was that, well, he got himself in a position to take some chances, which is something that our strikers don't do that often. And the other one was another game I can't remember. I thought he moved quite well, and I thought it would have been a good idea to see more of him, but he ain't had the opportunity. So good luck to him. Phobie, I've said this all along. He was never loyal to Millwall Football Club. He didn't really care about Millwall Football Club. And you know, if you're not invested, this is a football club where you have to be invested in this team, don't you? You have to be invested with the fans and the Millwall way and all that sort of stuff. So, and he wasn't. I think he was there just to get a wage and play football. And you know, before that, he was going to Club Bruges, and he had no other option but to come back to Millwall. And now he's gone. The answer to your question is, yeah, right, look, we don't have many strikers, but we never had a striker on the pitch when he was on the pitch anyway. So, you know, I'd rather give Vogelslammer a go. He's untried and untested as a number 9. So we know what you get with Benick, which isn't a lot, really.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's almost like, you're right what you're saying, like, you're not that fussed about Phobie. It's just a void that it's going to leave. But 2 fit strikers now, Bradshaw and the Slammer. And then, of course, Bradshaw went off at half-time Saturday. I was like, oh, my fucking God. But if Bradshaw does go off injured, God forbid it doesn't happen, then Vogelshammer will start. So we have still got 2 strikers, and we only played 1 up front. But I think we'll dip our toe in the market. Joe, you was a bit of a fan of Benick, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm on 2 minds on this situation. Like, I see a comment a couple of minutes ago from Millwall Tube that I sort of agree with. I've always had a soft spot for him. He's had a lot of criticism over the time, and I think sometimes earlier on in the season, a lot of people were slagging him off a lot and getting on his back. And yeah, exactly. I couldn't, from my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, I couldn't really understand it. And I've actually always said, if he's in the right place and given the right chances, you actually look at some of the goals he scored for us earlier on in the season and last season, he takes them so well. And I'd say he's probably the best finisher in our team when he was there. But this season he's had injuries and whatever, and we're playing one up front. You can't really drop Bradshaw at the minute if he's scores a few goals every few games. So yeah, I just think it leaves us. The only major miss of it is it leaves us a bit light now if we've not got anyone coming in. But I can understand the reason he's sort of gone as well. I don't know if everyone knows it, but he's got his own business in real estate. He set up his own property business in Dubai. So that's the reason he's gone to that club. So he's obviously spoke to the board, and manager said it's going to suit him, suit his lifestyle if he's setting up work over there. So it's not just he's gone to a team in Dubai out of nowhere. So there's obviously conversations had about that already. It's just it leaves us light now. But I do believe from previous windows, whether it happens on the last day or not, Rowett does have something up his sleeve sorted. You wouldn't just... I know Alafi didn't really play, but to let two strikers go, you've got to have something planned there, because it does leave us a bit light. And I do believe he has, but it just hasn't come out yet.
I'll let you into a little secret. And as you boys know, I always tell you boys before things happen, and then they happen 9 times out of 10, I think, with the exception of the Ollie Burke, Agent Ollie Burke. I've been making phone calls daily to people I get concrete stuff from, and there is absolutely no one in the pipeline, apparently.
Well,
nothing.
I've had...
You told me Janolo yesterday.
I've had a bit of inside information. I'm not going to name the player, and I'm not going to say it live, but I'll tell you boys off air. A friend of mine actually knows a certain player personally, and I've got on good authority there will be someone coming in, but I'm not going to name who it is.
Yes, I'm fishing every day, mate, and I've had
throwing that one out there.
Is he a striker?
Yes.
Has he got a moustache?
I'm not going to say any more.
Is he wearing a hat?
Is he English?
Is it Eric?
I'm not saying any more, but someone I know knows the player personally.
We'll leave that one there. We'll leave that one in. Where's my fucking phone when you need it? Oh, can't get text me. John Brankin, how are you, mate? So John texted me. He saw I was down at my mum and dad's lodge over Christmas, and he said, "Fancy me for a drink?" So I said, "Yeah, come on then, fuck it, it's Christmas." So never met John. Seen him on Nick Hart's Act Tongue show. I thought he really speaks well. And of course, I love the legend that is Nick. So I went and met John and his boy Rufus on Christmas Eve. Drank 5 pints of cider, got pissed, knocked a drink over John, didn't I? It was lovely. But we'll get you on a show one day, John, because you want to come on. That's all good. That's just jogged in my memory, mate. I'll give you a message at some point. Trevor's team, Dan. Look. Right, sorry, I forgot what I was doing here. There's so many comments. Boys, if you see any comments that you want to respond to or read
They're
out,
all on Joe now. They're all on Joe trying to figure out.
They just said, purposely ruffled a few feathers.
Yeah. No, they've just said, let's play Guess Who, Lions TV version.
I still ain't got. I've ordered my new glasses. They ain't going to be here for like another week. So, apologies about that, everyone. I do appreciate your comments going in. And boys, yeah, say if you need anything, see anything you want, don't be afraid to shout them out. So we've got Benegaphobia out the door. We've got Isaac Tanto and Lafay out the door, and then as recently as yesterday or the day before, my life's flashing before me. Strong rumours saying that Leeds will recall Charlie Creswell. It's not going to cover the screen, this one, boys. Sorry, I've covered most of the screen. This guy, Phil Hay, is a writer for Leeds United, and he's an author. He's got and the Athletic as well. He's got 250,000 followers on Twitter. So if he's put out an article on it, I can see it definitely happening. Charlie Creswell, Peter, let's start with you. Because you don't fucking mix your words. Oh,
where's he gone?
I just can't see him any word there.
Charlie Creswell.
Who? Ali Maxwell? Charlie Creswell?
Funny one. He's young, inexperienced. I think he would have better off in going on loan to a League One side.
Yeah.
As you see, the other day he got caught out of the back again. Player got behind him, second goal, I think it was.
Mullered him, yeah.
Got behind Cresswell. He seems to I think he's a very much a confidence player. I've seen him in games he has played where he sprayed the ball out. Some of his passes range was unbelievable. But they do 2 or 3 good things, then they do 2 or 3 bad things. Always get caught out of position. I think if you look the other day, against, if you remember it, against Sheffield United, the player was coming down on goal and he ran away from him. I don't remember that. He was actually running away from the player, so he let the player run on goal. I think, what are you doing?
He did that at Sheffield United away. Ball over the top. Yeah. Cooper, the header didn't win. And instead of dropping in behind Cooper or even standing still, he just fucks off towards Sheffield United's goal. Just like running.
Yeah, he was going the opposite way. So his decision making ain't great.
No,
I wish him all the luck in the world, the boy. But he ain't championship standard, and all they're banging on about him, he ain't that great. He ain't going to be no Premiership player. I can tell you that. He makes too many mistakes and wrong decisions, you know, for me. So, yeah, take him back by all means, Leeds. Let's get someone else in, you know.
I'm taking back.
I know a couple of Sunderland fans, and they're banging on the boy that we had from Arsenal. What was his name?
Ballard.
They said he's absolutely brilliant.
But the annoying thing is as well, I mean, we'll get into it in a minute, is that we could have got, we took Ballard off Arsenal with the intention of, have a look at him, you know, he's not ever going to make it great at Arsenal. We could maybe get him. But we got told point blank, Charlie Creswell, he's too good for you. We can't, you know, you're not even ever going to get to keep him. So obviously as a result, other players of our own have been pushed to the background. Ken, what are you saying, Charlie Creswell?
I don't think Charlie Creswell's ever really been that good. I think we judged him positively on the goals that he scored more than his defending. And then, you know, I mean, if he had scored them goals, he scored 2 goals in his debut, didn't
he? Yeah.
And, you know, all of a sudden we just would have, I don't know, he's never really been a great defender for us. He just impacted us in a positive way from the beginning. So we all liked him, didn't it? But when you look at it, like Pete said, when you actually look at some of his defensive play, it's really poor. It's really poor. And it scares the life out of me, having him in there. And I just don't understand the concepts, you know, against it. All right, listen, if Hutch is injured, then you don't mind having him in. But if Hutch and Cooper are fit, he don't get near him. Yeah. He don't get near him, in my opinion. So, look, we need somebody, though. That's the thing. I wouldn't mind having him on the subs bench. But
I don't think Leeds are going to wear that. I think that's the problem.
That's the problem, yeah. The pressure of playing him. And listen, I'm not having him over Hutch or him over Cooper. So if he's got to go back and you've got to go and loan out a defender.
Yeah. Well, maybe go off someone like Derby now. Go to Derby on loan for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying there's definitely other championship interest. But I said in the video I put out yesterday, by the way, if you haven't seen it, I put out a Charlie Creswell video. If he goes to a team higher than us, lower than us, we're 6. We're in the top 6. We're an established side. If he goes to a team lower than us in the division, like a Rotherham or someone else shit, he's going to get a lot more defending to do. If he goes to a top-end team, I can't see him getting in. No. Joe, we'll touch on this as well because Ken said get someone else in. Well, we've got Alex Mitchell out on loan at St Johnstone, in and around our first team previously, as was Hayden Muller. And I think, you know, you can't blame Charlie Creswell for Hayden Muller going to be getting released by the club or sold. But it's definitely impacted it, you know, bringing in someone that was nothing to do with us. Joe, where do you stand on Creswell? To be honest with you, it's a debate show. I don't see how anyone in this panel or watching, in the comments, tell me if you're in there, could go, he's decent, Charlie Creswell. I can't... If you have, I think you've always been pointing at the fucking incinerator or something behind the ground and not on the pitch.
Well done.
He's rash. He has head loss. He's got no pace. He's fucking all over the gaff, honestly. I think he's horrendous.
Well, I absolutely loved him, and I think he's going to be a major miss.
Sorry,
obviously, I'm joking.
Yeah, no.
Do you know him? I'm not too fussed. Let him take him. Let them take him back. He sort of come with a lot of hype. I think he played a few games for Leeds in the Premier League last season.
But I reckon he had Mikel Antonio in his pocket. Like the Leeds fans going, "Oh, what a player!"
Yeah, and you go off the back of that, and a lot of stuff you hear from sort of social media these days. There's a lot of Leeds fans on social media going, "Oh, he's brilliant. How Millwall have pulled this off," and even other fans have said,
Did they say future England captain at one point?
Yeah, other fans of like Premier League teams I know that see him play against them said, "Oh, he was a really good player. You got a really good signing there. Hit the ground running, as we've mentioned. 2 goals in the first game, and I'm sure he got a couple more from there. But yeah, he seemed all right to have in the box at set pieces. But
well, we signed him though, isn't it? That's exactly right.
Yeah, his attacking was better than his defending. And I think we signed him really as sort of a ball-playing defender. Like, listen, you can do highlight reels of some of the worst players in the world and make them look good. But when we first signed, you sort of go on YouTube, type his name in, Charlie Cresswell highlights, blah, blah. And you see some of the things he done even in the England under-20s where he was picking the ball up in this highlight reel in his centre-back position, and he just sort of seemed to run forward with it and drive through the midfield. But I don't think that's really set to how Rowett sets up and our style of play. And yeah, his defending was, I hate to say it, but nothing short of shambolic at times.
Just... It was the fucking, you know as well, what you just said there about him travelling out the back and the passing range. He fucking looks unbelievable. But the amount of times, honestly, has anyone else noticed this? Seen him kick it down the fucking tunnel. He goes past the dugout and he goes down the fucking tunnel where the players go. I've seen him do that about 5 times.
He can pick out a pass, but at the end of the day,
but Lurch don't play. The security guard hiding down the bottom goes to Lurch every time.
Yeah, when he's got a player up against him, he sort of gets turned inside out more often than not.
Yeah. Michael Hicksman is Alex Mitchell when he good. If people don't know who Alex Mitchell is, probably should. He's this guy, Big Al. Lovely guy he is. So is his old man Paul. And 2 Paul Mitchell.
Is he not on the subs bench there now, though, Dan? He don't think we get a lot of games, someone said.
No, he's been starting every week for St Johnstone.
Has he?
Well, actually, that's, as far as I know, up until about a month ago, maybe.
I thought I heard he's on the subs bench, yeah.
Scored against Celtic, didn't he? Scored against Celtic. But look, you know, I think they may well call him back. That could be an option. But yeah, again, you know, we've got Evans who can play there. We've got Leonard who can play there. But we do seem to be very light on the ground. It's like, especially as Joe said, you know, like what's fucked us over in previous years is going for that push, and we have fallen away. And at times, we have to a lack of, you know, fit players. That happens this time of year as well, doesn't it?
Well, usually this is our time to push forward, isn't it? You know, we usually have a strong second half of the season. And usually that's with a crap January window as well. So
that's very true. That is very true. I've got loads of other players here. So as it stands, I mean, the other player that we haven't mentioned, well, that's all the players out. Players in, other than Idemo Amaku, who couldn't play on against Sheffield United because he done his fucking quad the day before the game. Someone put he's fucking perfect for us then. Gets into the can't play that way. But I don't think he'll play a lot anyway. I think I saw Trevor say it that he'll be more involved with the 2021s. Right. So we need players, boys. Who? What positions? How much should we pay for these players? How many players short are we from going up? What do you think we'll get? Open house.
Right. I would say it's quite obvious what we need, Dan. Any fool can see what we need. We need one central, again, attacking midfielder with experience who can run, got energy, and we need 2 strikers. Either one striker and another winger, but 2 forwards for definite, 1 midfielder. I'm happy with the defence, more than happy with the defence. Don't touch them. Add 1 to the midfield, 2 attacking players. I've always said, 1 striker in the mould of Steve Morrison. The one that can bully defenders, the one that can hold the ball up, the one that can score a goal, the one can make goals himself. And I know they're few and far between, but in the Morrison mould I'm looking at, And I like that Ched Evans from Preston.
He tore us apart. He tore us apart.
He's a bully.
Sorry, I weren't laughing at you suggesting him. I was laughing at him at the thought of coming to us because when we played, you was there, Ken, Chesterfield, a few years ago. He got fucking dogs abuse from us, didn't he?
Yeah. He did.
Those 3 players, Pete, it sounds good on camera, but on paper, as Daisy says, have we got any money? No. We ain't going to get. I mean, I like the idea of it, people. We ain't going to get 3 players in. I think we need a centre back, a centre forward.
As I said before, Dan, we're in a position, right? And you were talking about earlier about owners not interested in buying Millwall, whatever, right? But we're in a position, right, where the clubs were on paper. I don't know. Someone was saying about 60 million, 80 million. Don't think it's worth anything like that. But we are in touching distance of a club being worth 200 million, right? 200 million, I reckon. We're 200 million. I don't know how much they get for being in the Premiership, right? But if you invested, any full, we're there. If you invested, took the gamble. A lot of teams take gambles. Invested 6 or 7 million. Go out there and get them. And at least we can't blame the club for not having to go. But we're never going to get anywhere unless we spend some money. Simple as that. We're just going to be mediocre Millwall, drop away again, and that's it. Unfortunately, all them people out there who's listening and watching and all that, we have to invest money. So we've got to find the money from somewhere to push on. Or we're going to be the same. All we'll have in future is like middle of the table, flaunt with the playoffs, maybe an odd relegation battle. But we're in a situation now where it's a must that we invest. I'm sorry, we must get the money from somewhere and get them 3 players. I don't give a shit. We have to do it. Otherwise, it's the same old, year after year. So I said before.
What are you saying? What are we here for? This is now. It's like it's a little bit like now or never. Like we're in a really good position.
Go for it. This is the weakest. This is the weakest championship in years. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the weakest championship in years. It's there. All right, the top 2 are gone, but the playoffs are there, right? And there's no reason why. There's not one team in that league that I don't think Millwall can't beat, including Norwich's and Burnley. Bring Burnley down to 10. Sure, we could turn them over. I'm sure we could turn Sheffield United around if we wake up and the ground's full and the players are more up for it. I don't fear no team in this division whatsoever. And it's the best time, the weakest championship in years. And we should push on and go for it. If we go invest and we get in a plant and we fail, so be it. We've had a go. You can't blame them. But we're sorry, Dan, we've got to have a go.
Said it perfectly.
Yeah, said it perfectly. I want to pick up saying what you said there about investing. Something we spoke about on the WhatsApp group the other day about this elusive, this myth, this legend of a 25-goal a season striker we talk of. I want one. Of course I do. Try to figure out a way to say it. We haven't had a 25-goal a season striker in the Championship since Teddy Sheringham. Where do we get these 25? I mean, other players in other teams in our division haven't got a 25-goal a season striker. Is 25 ambitious? Fleming's the top scorer in the division. Well, joint, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where do we get these players from? How much are they going to cost us? Is it realistic within?
What I think. Sorry, go on, Ken.
The problem is though is that Teddy Sheringham wasn't I don't think he was a proven striker, was he, when he come to us?
Come for the youth team.
Yeah. So, and this is what we're trying to say. You don't want to be going out and buying. Yeah, I don't know. Say for instance, say Danny Ings. All of a sudden was let's just say someone like him, he's fallen a bit short, and we go, right, we're going and we spend 5 million on Danny Ings because he'd be able to score 25 goals in the Championship, no problem, right? The problem is there's no intent to buy any striker that could potentially be a 20-goal. There's
I like that. I like what you're saying.
There's plenty of players in the Championship that have scored goals, but maybe aren't getting the opportunity anymore. So, I think I said 2. And I think they will probably go along the same lines as what Pete's talking about a dirty, nasty, horrible striker. And that would be Jordan Hugill and that Jukiewicz from Birmingham.
Juki. You said the
Oh,
one
yeah.
that Barrett's got a nickname for, and I said
Juki, that's it.
Juki.
I'd like him.
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
they're
hang on, is he not even getting in Birmingham side?
No, he's not. But this is what I'm trying to say.
Ain't he about 32?
I think he's younger than that. But what I'm trying to say is that these strikers, just because they're not getting in at Birmingham, don't mean that they couldn't do a job at Millwall. It just doesn't fit their style of play. You know, but the problem is you can't get a Hugo or a Juki if you haven't got. We've been playing the whole season with no wingers. We've got some over entitled prick on the left, and we've got a number 9 on the right.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're talking about. We're going to talk about him in a bit anyway.
Yeah, so you know, to be honest, if we're going to get a striker, we need to get some wingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, that was another thing I was going to say. When you said a 25 goal a season striker, I was just saying, we don't create 25 fucking chances a season because we ain't got no
only thing. Yeah.
We ain't got no wingers.
One of the comments on there: money don't buy success. What a load of rubbish! Look at Man City. Look at Chelsea.
Yeah, they were nowhere.
You're talking rubbish now, mate.
I'll just agree.
And if
I
you
just
don't
agreed with that comment.
nowhere. Yeah, you have
Until he said that.
money. What are you talking about?
When you keep saying Duke, well, I keep thinking about Boise and Martin's dog. But it's just completely that's where my brain's at sometimes. But when you say don't attempt to buy the players that could be, you said then, Ken, we don't attempt to buy the players that could become 25 goal season strikers. What I thought you meant by that was we buy journeymen, and then when you said Hugo and Jukovic, I think they fall a little bit in that bracket, don't they? Are they not?
Well, they do, but I'll be honest with you, I'd be over the moon if we signed Jordan Rhodes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's Ched Evans. I liked him. He's fucked now though.
He's finished.
Or Ched Evans. Honestly, I was at Preston. Ched Evans tore us a new arsehole. His movement was incredible. And he was really, really excited. Oh, all right, fair enough.
I mean, so I didn't know. I knew he was. I like Evans, but the thing is that I'm not digging our club out. Ched Evans ain't going to leave Preston and come to Millwall.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No, Dan, we're not saying get you. I'm saying I'd like him. I want a player in a similar vein as him.
Do you know who would be perfect, right? It's a shame he's now playing in the Premier League. I didn't know if he would. But where we are at this stage of the season, it's not going to happen, but I was throwing it out there, would be the perfect striker for us right now, would be Kiefer Moore. But he's now playing at Bournemouth. So,
but he's scoring goals. Last time
the only way
scoring goals. He scored a couple the other week, didn't he? For the World Cup, scored an header off the bar.
I think the only way we're going to get a decent striker is going down the Vogelsammer and Fleming route. We've got to try and look abroad as sort of unknown player that no one else is watching. Even when you go down to sort of League One and League Two, the way it's going now, like I see Bristol City earlier valued one of their midfielders that Wolves are trying to sign at 25 million. 25 million for a player in the Championship. Even if we're looking at strikers that are towards the top scorers of League One, League Two, they're still going to want even a League Two player, one of the 3 top scorers, say, went for them. They're still going to be asking for a few million. I don't think we've got that to go out. So the only way is look abroad at sort of a prospect that no one else sort of really knows about, or you've got the avenue of a young player on loan from a Premier League team. But again, you're going back down that route of developing.
That's not going to solve it.
Or you maybe even look at the lower, like the conference, like we've done with sort of Steve Morrison before, and Vardy's come out of there, and we've had Gregory from there.
One of our best partnerships was Steve Morrison and Gregory.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything you're saying, Joe. But you're right. What we got Morrison and Gregory for, you some people saying about this guy called Longstaff from Notts County,
and they probably still want $1 million plus,
mate. They want about 2-3 million for him.
Yeah.
But that could be. But the thing is, that is okay if you're a bigger club and you've got the money to risk. That will be our biggest signing ever. We need to be sure on it. So I understand why the club are getting a little. They are thing. I heard they was trying to look back abroad, but someone they was interested in, it come recommended by Fleming, had already gone. He'd already gone to another club. So, look, it's as this is proving, and when people say, well, why don't we just go and buy someone? We're all sitting here and fucking discussing what would fit, what would budget-wise be right, and things like that. It's not easy, do you know what I mean?
But Dan, it ain't our job, is it? It ain't our job. Their job is to go out, Millwall and the other football club, is to go out and find players. Yeah? They're the ones got to go and do they're the ones got time on their hands to go around, watch games in Europe, the National League, whatever. That's the scouting network's job to do that. Right? And if they can't find anyone, then they're not doing their job. They can't find any decent players. Yeah? It's their job to find decent players.
Very true.
Look abroad.
What was this today, Joe? This Nombe from Exeter.
Yeah. People are going on about him. But I see it on...
decent striker.
Yeah, I see it on Twitter the other day about all of a sudden picked up on the rumour mill and everyone was jumping on it. And I see the first person to actually tweet about it that jumped on it, clicked on the profile, and it's like, no picture, a probably fake account that someone's just set up, got about 20 followers. I can go on there and create an account, fake account, and just go, oh, rumour Millwall interested in this player. And everyone just jumps on it and it ricochets. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, what's this about? We're interested in this player. But I think that's a load of rubbish. I hold my hands up if you end up signing to us.
Raise my hands up to that. Well, he's a good striker, but look.
That's your mate, Joe, isn't it?
That's that, mate.
It's Joe's mate.
I'm remaining tight-lipped.
Oh, yeah. Put it, let me know. That's, well, we got, was it 31st of Jan, 20 days. But not Pittsburgh. We've got a fucking big game coming up Middlesbrough. We've actually got a very big month. The Burnley game's now obviously being postponed. We've got Middlesbrough away, Cardiff away, would have had Burnley at home, Sunderland at home, and QPR away. We don't want to be going into that light on numbers, which we will be at the minute. Right, so we've got two more things to address. Joe's got to have an early night, Pete's told him. So we're going to try and finish at 9:30.
He starts to drop around 9:30. His eyes start to drop, yeah?
Like, when I'm getting up at 5 a.m. every day, it's difficult. I need to be in bed by 9.
You're a pub. I was getting called out at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
Boom, Pete, today.
Don't know the ball. No, exactly.
Two more things to address, right? We've spoken about results over Christmas. Talking about. Fucking hell. We've spoken about players that have left, potential players coming in. We're going to talk now about one player and keep it cleanish in the comments. That is creating a little bit of a stir at the minute. I personally haven't seen anything from both sides. I've seen him get a little bit of grief from the stands. I've not seen the quieting down that apparently.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
To the fans. Oh, it's a thumbs up, that one. But Tyler Bury. I'm going to kick things off here. And I'm going to say, I watched him for years, right? Well, signed by Neil Harris, of course, from AFC Wimbledon. He's already playing for their first team, comes into our 23 setup, and I watched him for years. And he was so bad that I was like, my God. Anyway, he eventually breaks into the Millwall first team. And people were going, fucking Tyler Bury, what a player. He's exciting. He gets bums off seats. And my best mate used to go and watch the 21s with me all the time. He used to go, he's fucking actually making me angry. Everyone's saying he's that good. Don't worry, he isn't. Time will tell. And now that sort of, there's starting to happen a bit. But I'm going to say this. Fair play to him to get into the first teams. I never thought we'd get there. He is also young-ish, and he's also a winger. Wingers can dip in and out of games. I think the problem with Tyler Bury is, again, a little bit of what you're expecting or what you originally see. There was talk of people, Brentford buying him. Oh, he's unbelievable. And then when people realised he's not that good, now they're hating on him. I think he's fine to have as a squad player and bring on as an impact player if we're chasing the game. But I think that's his limit. And I think that people were expecting more, and that's why they're hating on him. There is, of course, question marks about his work rate. So, Tyler Bury, boys, who wants to open this one up? It's can of worms.
I'll have a go.
Go on in, Joseph.
I think at this moment in time, I've said it a few times, I think he is an impact player at best. And the reason for that, you see when he starts games, I think it was the Bristol City game, where he picked up the ball late in the first half. And I said, flipping out, I forgot he was even playing. He is not the same player when he starts as to when he's coming on as a sub. And the reason I put that down to is, say he's coming on last 20 minutes and he's running, he's fresh. He's got fresh legs and he's running against a defence that have played like 70 minutes that are sort of half fucked already. It makes him look a bit better and he's got more chance of beating players. I don't agree with all the criticism and I didn't see the whole shush or people booing him because I don't think that helps either party, to be honest. I've never sort of...
Has anyone in the comments seen that apparently he was giving it to the crowd? Also,
another thing with him, I do think he can go on. I think he's just going through a sticky spell. But I think even if he's given a run of games starting, fair enough, he might go missing. But I think if you give him a bit of consistency, he'll grow into the role. And I actually think if he played now till the start of the season solidly, depending on what division we're in, if we're still down there, I think he could go on to be a big player for us. He's just going through a sticky spell. We've seen it with other players. Leonard, when he first come to us, everyone was getting on his back. Didn't really like. I hated him myself, to be honest, and he come good. Sean Williams was another one. I know different positions, but when he first started, didn't like him at all. And I'm sure there was another one this season. I can't remember, but I had another good example where really didn't. Mitchell, I used to be his biggest critic, and he, like last season especially, and now he's going down as contender for player of the season. So I do think he has a future with us. We just got to try and ride this wave with him, fans and him alike.
I think he's got a future with us, but I think the future is people need to realise he isn't great. He'll only be a bit part player, and he could come off the bench and do what he did against QPR that time, you know. Ken, Pete, what are you saying about Tyler? I can already tell. Arms folded, stern look. Someone's getting a bollocking. I can see it coming.
Go on, Pete.
I think it's just attitude problem, mate. To be honest with you, attitude, bit of laziness, and I think where he gets a bit of stick from the crowd, he puts his back up, and I think that affects him. I think someone, I don't have the room, but I'm sure someone said to me, Joe might back me up. Someone see him in the car park. I said, have a good game to him. He said, he said, good luck today.
I don't need luck.
I don't need any luck. So he's, you know, like you think so. Well, it's not the sort of thing to say. You know what I mean? Like it's, it's getting back to me. The two players I bring on for the last 10, 15 minutes of a game, if we're losing, would be Tyler Bury and Matt Smith. Bury to like he'll be sort of up and get down the wing and cross the ball, and Matt would be there. But I think the maximum is just like a 50-minute player at the moment. That's who he is. Who he is. Can't put it down to fitness. Just put it down to attitude. But when on his day, when he wants to play, he's a marvellous player.
So another really good game away was Derby away. Remember Derby away scored one, set up another.
Yeah, I remember that.
He does seem to have gone backwards since then, but like you said, Joe, it might hopefully just be a sticky patch. I don't really care if players give it that to the fans. Fuck off. Harris used to do it. Fucking Morrison
in
used to do it.
In a way, it shows they care a bit.
Come on in, Ken.
Got a bit of passion about him.
I think he's shocking. I think he's poor all round. So he doesn't defend at all. His attitude is extremely poor. The only thing that I can give him a little bit of slack on is that he's a right winger playing on the left. Right, but he's made no assists. I think he scored one goal, which he missed it. With his heel.
When was this? What, this season?
At home, yeah, he scored at home, yeah.
He scored Swansea away, didn't he?
No, he didn't score. Swansea away was an own goal. The one at home.
Two own goals.
It was 2 own goals, wasn't it?
And the keeper, I don't know what the keeper's doing for that one. Yeah. The one he scored at home, Ken. I know the one you mean.
He's had he's probably missed the worst open goal I've ever seen in my life. Right?
You got a list written down there?
No, I haven't. But this is just all going through my head. So, and he, with all due respect, he hasn't changed since he come into the first team. He used to run down the line really fast, really pacey, right, and it would end up going off for a goal kick after time. He does every now and then ping the ball in the box with his left foot. Nothing comes of it. He doesn't create anything. He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't create opportunities. He's got I've seen so many times now, the amount of times Boggle Slammer in particular goes at him in games because he's selfish.
Didn't he give it that one, the Vogelsam in one game? Shut
Yeah. And
Birmingham
listen,
when he should have squared it, wasn't it?
Yeah, but look, it's not his fault. Gary Rowett picks him and he plays his game. But again, the minute we have a left winger that can take players on and cross the ball into a box, Tyler Bury will be non-existent. And I think he should really go back to a team like Hartlepool and, learn his trade a bit more and see if he can improve. I'd loan him out personally, Tyler Bury. I wouldn't want to get rid of him completely just in case.
I know he's
Derby.
But I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't even have him. I'd rather have Mason Bennett if he's fit come on instead of Tyler Bury.
Arse ankles, bloody hell.
I know if he's fit.
Right. All right, boys. Well, look, there is one topic left to go, and I know this is going to go on. So,
bring it on, Dan.
You boys are right to carry on, Joe?
Sweet.
Still with us?
All good.
Right. This is the final topic, and I'm raising this topic, one, because me and Kenny have had a little argument about it before. Shall we say debate, right? Two, because I'm not sure if it's Pete or if it's to me, but I think it was the sponsor actually. I'm talking about the goalkeeper situation anyway. I'm talking about where are they? Got some photos. George Long and his coffee machine, and the big man, the Polish Panther. I'm going to start by saying, sorry, Ken, this is a debate. The goals on Saturday, I watched them back, and I don't know how anyone could possibly point a finger at Bolkowski for either of them. I know you disagree. The first goal, the guy cuts in, left back's non-existent, and he comes out, spreads himself like Peter Schmeichel, gives fires it in. I think you're maybe saying because it went in the near post, but it wasn't like a shot from distance that went in the near post. And the second one is a shot that deflects. And he jumps to set himself as it deflects and it hits the ground. And in real time, I did think it looked like it took an eternity to go in, but it does sort of shoot over his head and go in. I still don't think that's his fault. But look, especially with the goal at Sunderland that you said wasn't George Long's fault. But where do we stand on it? Look, Bolkowski for me is aging. I think he is starting to slip into David Ford territory. You know, he gets keepers make mistakes as they get on, don't they? As they kick on. I think still for me, Bolkowski's miles better. I don't really rate George Long at all. I think he's made a lot of mistakes. I think he's getting out of jail with his distribution for a big kick, but I think even that is just a big kick. I don't think it's anything decent to work with. So I'm very much Bolkowski in. That's basically what I'm asking you all. Boys, what we saying, Bolkowski or George Long? And let me know in the comments as well. Bolkowski or Long. I'll see a few people say Saturday that, nah, Bart's done. Bart's gone. So it wasn't just you.
No, yeah, do you know what? I looked at Bart the last couple of games, isn't it? He's played. And to me, he seems like he's aged quite a bit. He's like, seems to be got slower. I don't know if I just noticed it on Saturday's best.
I think he's always been. I've said to you before, like when he can't bend his knees.
But
he's always been like an old man hobbling around. But he's shot
something about Saturday. Something about Saturday worried me about Bart.
I remember him making like 2 or 3 really good saves on Saturday.
No, but it's just his demeanour. His demeanour.
Fair enough.
Right, you know, not about his save, but I just didn't feel. I felt like he is our second string keeper now, and I'm a long George Long fan, mate.
Yeah, so Trevor's agreeing with Kenny saying first goal was near post. Bartley's angle was all wrong, was right behind it. But the thing is, the geezer's coming at pace in a one-on-one situation. I know a goalkeeper shouldn't be beating his near post. It weren't a shot from distance that's gone in his near post.
Wherever goal's going, we're always going to blame the keeper somewhere. Should have got this one, should have got that one, should have got that one.
Yeah.
I'm a Jules Long fan, and I do think his distribution is. You say about his shots and things like that, but his distribution is brilliant.
I don't think it is. I think it's a big fuck off kick now.
When you look at Bart, how many times has he kicked the ball out?
Oh, he's terrible. Bart's terrible. His feet.
You know what I mean? And he can even. Jules Long can even pass it from where he is. That's how good he is when he does that.
Kicking for me, he's gone backwards. It's just a big fucking kick. Just bear in mind, he's a goalkeeper. He's supposed to save the ball.
Yeah, but look at that. But look, people said like me earlier. Said I'm comparing Man City to Millwall. No, I wasn't. I was talking about money investing in the club. But look at Pep Guardiola when he got rid of the what's his name? The one's at Celtic now.
I'll get that, but the rest of our team can't do that.
Yeah, but he got rid of that guy.
Murray
Wallace, mate, Murray Wallace, by the way.
He got rid of the guy for Edison. Distribution for the goalkeeper is so important in football these days, Dan.
I know, but we're not. The centre halves kick it off the pitch so often that it don't matter if he can play with his feet.
Yeah, I know.
All Murray Wallace does is go fuck off and kick out the ground.
Listen, listen. At the end of the day, it's all about opinions, like we say. But I'm a George Long fan, and I prefer him all day over Bart now.
Another reason I don't rate Long Reader, I don't not rate him, and I hope he does come good. He's never played in the championship, and I think he's been found out many a times in the short space that he's played. But look, go on, boys. I'll stop talking now, and I'll just put a few on the screen as we go past. Unless you say George Long, then I won't put your comment up. I'm talking. All day. Go on. Who wants to go next?
Go on. I have to say, I'm not just saying it for a happy cat, but genuinely, personally, I'm really on the fence with this one. And I'm trying to look at the positives from it. I think they're both good keepers.
Good point.
So to pick between the two of them, I'm really happy. Going into each game, if it's Bart there, if it's Long starting, I've got no qualms on either. I'll be happy either way. But I think they're both slightly different. Have got different strengths to their game. Long, I do think his distribution is pretty good. He's got us in some good attacking situations just from his goal kicks or wherever he's got the ball at hand, gets it out. I think Bart is a better shot stopper, even though I still think Long is. But yeah, I'm really torn between them. I can't really give an answer, to be honest, in my opinion.
By the way, that's a great shout. How good was the Rotherham keeper?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, he was brilliant.
I just think they've both got different strengths to their games. Nope.
Pressing buttons right here. Sorry, Joe.
You need them glasses, Dan.
Yeah, I know. Man, I'm pressing buttons with the other fingers. But all day long, I love the way Kenny holds back and then goes last.
I knew he was going to unleash something, so I thought I'll step in and let him go.
I mean, he is pretty much a Bart in camp, but there's a few George Long fans in there. Honestly, I'm passionate about goalkeeping because I used to fucking play goalkeeper. I know Kenny did as well. George Long is not. Well, put it this way: George Long ain't proved himself to be as good as you all think he is. For a start, should have saved both goals at Preston. Should have done better with 2 goals at Sunderland. First game he ever played, he pushed one in the net. He randomly will get a strange comment from me. He should have saved the penalty at Rotherham, and the goalkeeper should never save a penalty. But he took 7 steps to his left, and then the fucking just dived and didn't get the ball. And it was like rocking right there. Come on, Ken. Let me have it.
Yeah, no, I agree with the penalty save, definitely. Look, I love Bart. I think Bart is a fantastic goalkeeper, but he is getting old and he is getting ropey. And people can say what they want.
I agree with that.
About anything. The worst thing was not him letting that goal in at his near post. He should have covered that more. I'm not saying he should have got it. I'm not saying he definitely should have saved it, but he left a lot of his near post quite open. It was an easy finish for the striker. The second goal, he was just so flat-footed that he couldn't even give it a go. And he was in shot-stopping mode in that. That's why he fell backwards, because he was expecting it to come straight at him, and it didn't. and because it's looped up in the air, he can't get. He's not very. What's more worrying though is I don't know whether you saw, but that player took it round him, and how old he looked. He reminded me of if I was to go and play, 7-a-side now or something, and some 18-year-old taking the ball round me. That's exactly what I would do. Just fumble and then fall to me feet. So I'm not saying that George Long is the answer. I do think that George Long has got a lot better since he started. Once he started having a run of games, he was starting to be a bit more consistent and make some more saves, more important saves. And I think in time he will get better as well. But I think Bart's had it. And I think what will happen is if we do put Bart back in goal, that could be the difference between whether we get into the playoffs or not, because he made a lot of mistakes against Sheffield United. His passing was terrifying.
So all the things that everyone's saying that's bad about Bart, I think they've always been that bad. He can't fucking run. He's terrible with his feet. Like,
it's just because we've seen a different side.
When he goes down and that. From the day we signed him, I was like, he looks like his knee's going to pop every time he fucking kicks the ball off the floor. But I agree, he is coming, like, he is ages, 33. But I just don't think Long is as good as, I don't know what he's done for everyone to think he's that good.
33
he hasn't had a very strong game yet.
I don't agree with the whole aging thing. Like, if anyone, keepers go on a lot later. Like,
33 young for a keeper.
33 aging. I'm bloody 33. Jesus Christ. I'm considered aging as a footballer.
Yeah, but Joe, but what you got to think about, right? So he's had the same operation as me, right? And I'm 33, right? I can't do anything with my knee. I can't kick a ball properly.
Yeah, true, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it does take its toll on you, especially in the colder months as well. Like, it's horrible. It's horrible. So what I mean by that is the reason why he looks old is because he walks like he's old, because it probably is aching him. It probably is causing him a little bit of jip. And it's frustrating.
His knees have gone, says Basley. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go to the contrary now. And Joe, when he says we've got two really good keepers, I don't fucking think we have anymore. I think Bart's coming to the end, and I don't think Long's good enough to replace him.
Listen, we've had a lot worse in recent years.
We have had a lot worse. That's very true.
No names mentioned.
35.
I still like Willie Gouret.
Bart's 35.
Willie Gouret.
And maybe I am one to hold on to sentiment sometimes. It's been great for us, back-to-back player of the year. But ultimately, I want my goalkeeper to save the ball. And if it comes down to that, all day, every day, Bart's the winner. I understand what Pete's saying. I understand how football works these days. But our defenders cannot play football for toffee. As much as I love Cooper and I love Hutchinson and I don't love Murray Wallace as much, they are fucking awful on a football. They're out-and-out old-school defenders that they're good at. They cannot play at the back. They all just kick the ball off the pitch countless times. They can't play out. So even if Long can play to them, I think that's why he's put Long in, to get beyond them. Just don't even bother playing it short. Just fucking bypass them and get out there. But 70-yard kicks from Long to Bradshaw. Has George Long set any goals up or scored any? No. So
there was one a few games ago, one of the home games. I remember watching the highlights.
Oh, tell a lie. That was out of his hands.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, off the floor, he's kicking. I liked it at first. Like, fucking hell, he's great with both feet. His distribution is great. But what of use is it to us?
Dan, let me tell you now. I noticed it the other day. When the back passes are put back to Long, I don't panic. But when the ball is passed back to Bart, you panic. Because he can't control the ball. I think he nearly dropped a couple of clangers against Sheffield United. But I thought, what's he doing with it? With Long, you don't have them moments.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
When you give him the ball, he looks comfortable on the ball, where Bart don't look comfortable on the back pass.
I'll tell you what, though, when you do get that number 9, if we're talking about that horrible, beastie number 9.
Jeff Horsfield.
Yeah, someone like him, 100%. He was a great player.
Wasn't he?
Hated him.
But someone
I remember you used to have such a hate towards him, but you hated him because you sort of liked him at the same time.
He hurt our players, he hurt our defenders, and he bullied our defenders. And And I hated him bullying Millwall defenders.
Remember that 2-2 years ago with Hallsfield? I think he scored both goals for them at their ground.
Yeah.
Horrible bastard, wasn't he? I remember him.
He was a beast, mate. That's what you want. An absolute beast.
Hmm.
We were talking
And
about
all of a sudden, that distribution is blinding, isn't it?
Who?
All of a sudden, that distribution from Long will be blinding.
Yeah.
At the moment, Bradshaw's 2 foot in a bag paper, isn't he?
I understand what Steve's saying, and I agree with that. But I do understand what Pete's saying. The short game when they knock it back to Bar. I've done it since day one with Bar. I've gone, oh fucking hell, don't give it back to him.
Yeah.
I mean, what do people think's going to happen? I've never actually seen Bart, I don't think, pass it to the opposition and then score or us lose the ball. He's just very shaky and does give you shitty bum time, doesn't it? So I get that. I do get that. All right, well, look. Let's call it a night, boys. Because fucking Joe, I can see Joe reaching for the smelling salts.
Is anyone going to Borough or Cardiff?
Oh.
Cardiff, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to Cardiff.
Not Borough, unfortunately.
I'm going to
We're
Cardiff.
going Cardiff.
If
Trying to
anybody,
sort out an overnighter for Cardiff.
if anybody is going to Middlesbrough, outside the ground, they do the best meat and gravy and chips, by the way.
There is a couple on here. I think Chris Brown was going. When you, Chris, what you said there. And if you're going Borough, there you go. Chris is going Borough.
No, I'm not going to get me sausage roll.
What?
No, unfortunately, not Saturday.
Chris Brown was the one who bought.
You know what? I was going to go Saturday, but I'm not going. I've got work coming up my arsehole at the minute. I will be live streaming Saturday, but I think I'm even working Saturday. I'm going to shoot back and stream. So I'll tell you what, if anyone is going to Borough on here and you want to do a full-time reaction or a video, then get in touch via social media. Because we'll use it on the channel. Might even give you a drink for it. Who knows?
Borough's one I've really wanted to do. It's one of the only. There's only 3 grounds in the Championship I ain't been to, and that's one of them. Borough, Rotherham, and Blackpool. It's the only 3 I ain't done.
Well, I've done Borough every time since we've been back in the champ. I think Rotherham I did this year, and Blackpool was another fucking Huddersfield away. I refused to go there again. However, we've got Blackpool the Bank Holiday May weekend, second to last game of the season, Blackpool away.
Oh, that could be huge. That could be huge.
Your last TV day.
Automatic promotion party.
Well, fucking hell, you're ambitious. We need to do an away day soon, boys. We ain't done one for ages. We used to do loads, didn't we?
Yeah.
Cardiff,
this season, as you know, the distance to travelling is horrendous, isn't it, this year? It's one of the worst it's ever been for the Championship, isn't it? The only near games we had is Watford and QPR. And Luton
ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Coventry's coming up soon as well, isn't it?
That's on telly. So we've got 3 games within 2 weeks. They're all on the telly. Coventry away, Luton away, and Sheffield United at home. That's a 12:30 kickoff.
Is there Coventry midweek?
Yeah, Coventry's midweek on the telly.
No.
Luton's midweek on the telly, but they're now saying the Luton game might have to be moved again. Because if they get through in the FA Cup, that next round is going to be in midweek. And that means the Luton game will get moved again. We're now going to wait on the Burnley game to be moved. So the games are going to be coming thick and fast, boys, aren't they?
Mm.
That's why we'll have to get some signings down. And listen, little message. JB, if you're watching this in America, I know you've opened your wallet before, but open even wider this time and spend some money, JB, because we need it. We're in.
Do you know what? We're panicking a bit.
I think he's a member.
I'm still fairly confident we're gonna pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, but it's not bin day yet, Joe. It's not bin day yet.
He's good. Listen, we were saying it in the summer, weren't we? And then all these signings just come out of nowhere. Yeah. Listen, Rowett's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. I trust him.
Well, I've heard absolutely nothing. So what we're doing now is in this stream, and I'm going to try Joe Man until he tells me on WhatsApp.
Yep, me too.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the panel, as always. Enjoyed that, boys. It's been too long. Let's try and keep it a bit more regular. I always say that, but they're better than one. Sometimes you've got lots to talk about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully, are we shut off now, Dan?
Are
we still on?
Still live.
Oh,
still live, mate. Go on. Do you want to say something?
No, that's it. No, so wonderful.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to Lions TV.
Come on, you Lions.
Lions.